Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. Today, ladies and gents, it's a very special day. It is my final predictions for the Oscar nominations 2021. But before we get into this video, ladies and gents, please remember to like, subscribe and comment if feeling extra generous, just to ding that little bell. And as always, ladies and gents, please remember to scan these barcodes, go to links in the comments, or follow the names directly on the screens to follow my social medias. And also, in more exciting news, I've been taken on by Music City Drive-In as an entertainment writer for them. So, also follow this barcode or go to the link in the comment if you want to check out my first article for them. It is the same predictions as I'm about to go through now, but if you're interested, by all means, go and check it out. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, let's get into the predictions, and I'm just gonna scoop you do over here in order to make room here. Anyway, Best Picture. Yes, I know. I'm not budging just yet. I'm keeping Charlotte Chicago 7 at number 1. I'll tell you why. I think it has a really strong shot of winning PGA, SAG, and WGA. And The King's Speech hit all three of these. It won Best Picture. I don't think Nomadland's a done deal yet. I know it winning Golden Globe was huge and said a lot, and I think Nomadland definitely has a strong shot of winning. I'm not trying to deny that. But you know what? For now, I'm keeping Trial at 1 because it's more the type of film the Academy go for. Like, Trial goes for the emotion starter, it's more entertaining, it has a feel-good ending. Nomadland may be the better film. I don't feel like this, but I know that a lot of people find it slow and boring and just don't see the point in it, and I can see that being a lot of Academy members. Because, like, a lot of people do use examples of, well, they went with films like Moonlight and Parasite. The thing is with films like Moonlight, whilst it's not as entertaining as its competitor La La Land, the thing that gives Moonlight the edge is that it really goes for the emotions. And Parasite, yes, it's a foreign film, which is very unlike the Academy, and up until then, it's still very entertaining. Nomadland isn't really either of these, and I feel like because of that, it may go against it, especially when you consider the preferential ballot. So for now, I'm keeping Trial at number 1. We'll have to wait and see what wins PGA, WGA, and SAG before I consider moving Nomadland to number 1. I think this season has really solidified itself as a two-way race, which is why even though Minari is my number 3, I really can't see it winning Best Picture. It's in there. It is in there for the nomination, and I'm so happy to say that. I love Minari, Promising Young Woman, and Mank have gotten everywhere except BAFTA, but that being said, is that all that surprising? There's 5 spots and BAFTA went a bit crazy this year, so at this point it wouldn't be wise to bet against them. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and One Night in Miami, I know that I put one at 6, one at 7, but I'd say they're both equally as in there as each other. They did miss Golden Globes, but they still have the support of PGA, Critics' Choice, and SAG on their side. PGA and SAG in particular, which are both extremely strong. So honestly, I can't see a world in which these two don't get in at this point. Every year there usually is that one SAG ensemble film that doesn't make it into Best Picture. Last year it was Bombshell. This year it's going to be the Five Bloods, probably, unfortunately. My numbers 8, 9, and 10 are all very vulnerable, and I can see it maybe even a case of this year where only 7 films get into Best Picture and all these films are excluded. But out of all of these, I would say The Father has the best shot. It's the last one left that I still need to see, unfortunately, so I can't really comment on it on a personal level. But from what I've heard, it has 2 extremely strong lead performances, which will probably mean it will get a huge amount of support and love from the acting branch. Not only that, it's meant to be written very well, and it will get a lot of support from the writing branch, and usually the well-written, witty films usually do get into Best Picture, so it's just why I'm most optimistic about it being the number 8 spot compared to Judas and the Black Messiah and Sound of Metal. Judas has PGA, and so does Sound of Metal. And I know Sound of Metal also has Critics' Choice, but we can also determine the Judas snub at Critics' Choice because of the fact it was a late contender. Judas just does feel more like an Oscar film, and I feel like if it came out earlier, it would be doing much better, while Sound of Metal would probably still be where it is at now. Sound of Metal was released a lot earlier, and it's on the same level, and because of that, I would say it gives Judas the edge. My next in lines are News of the World, The Five Bloods, and The Mauritanian. The Mauritanian wouldn't have been on here if it wasn't for the BAFTA Best Picture nomination. You could determine that being because, British and everything, but still, I think not. And then News of the World's most likely. I really hope not, but I think that PGA snub well, I say snub, it didn't really deserve it, but I'd say not getting the PGA nomination has really severed its chances, and then The Five Bloods is just kind of done at this point. It got SAG Ensemble, which was nice, but it didn't even, and I know Critics' Choice nominated it, but I know critics like The Five Bloods, so it just doesn't make me feel all that confident, unfortunately. Moving on, Best Director. Yeah, I'm going to keep Chloe Zhao at number 1 because it seems like the right thing to do. She swept the Critics Award, she's got Golden Globe, she's got Critics' Choice, she's probably after the Oscars. But watch out for David Fincher still. Watch the fuck out for David Fincher, because I'd like to take you back to, coincidentally, the year it was between Tom Hooper and David Fincher swept, and everyone was like, oh, it's going to be the year of David Fincher, he's going to get his Oscar, and then Tom Hooper won DGA, and then everyone was like, oh, well, surely the Oscars will do the right thing. And nope, they went with Tom Hooper, and honestly, if David Fincher somehow wins DGA, I will so think he's winning the Oscars. He's overdue, and it'll open the door for the Oscars to do it too. But I think that's unlikely. It's going to be Chloe Zhao for the win. And then my number 3 is Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, who has been getting in everywhere. I know she got the BAFTA snub. I don't care. They went whacker this year. They had a completely new system. It's not really that telling for some categories, so I'm not really letting that get in the way all that much. But I am looking at the DGA, the surprise Golden Globe nomination, and I'm thinking, shit, this is going to get in for sure. How can I say no? I can also carry that happiness that she's probably going to get a nomination, to the fact Lee Isaac Chung from Minari probably getting a nomination. A couple of months ago, this seemed impossible. I thought people like Regina King, Spike Lee, Florian Zeller would be in the way, but seeming as they haven't been doing as well as they have been, and Lee Isaac Chung even got in at BAFTA. He missed Golden Globes, but they shut Minari completely there. He's got Critics' Choice, he's got DGA. It's going to happen for him. This top 4 is very solid. The vulnerable one is number 5, Aaron Sorkin, because the Oscars do sometimes snub that one director no one saw coming, like Bradley Cooper, for A Star Is Born. Last year, like, everyone thought Greta Gerwig was number 5, but it turned out to be Tom Hooper, unfortunately. But I'm not really taking that all that seriously. But I am looking at the years where some people like Bradley Cooper in particular, and the reason why they do that, and Ben Affleck, and the reason why they do that is because if it isn't directory enough for them, they will just be like, oh, well, I don't see why we should nominate that, and they don't, which is why I feel like Aaron Sorkin is the vulnerable number 5, and Regina King's my number 6 because she has been getting in at a lot of places, surprisingly. I don't even think, because she's got Golden Globe, she's got Critics' Choice, she's got first time DGA, so the only place she hasn't really got is BAFTA. So I say she's on a similar level as Sorkin, but because Trial of Chicago 7 is a much more likely Best Picture winner, that's why I have him at the number 5. Number 7's Spike Lee for The Five Bloods. I could see a world in which he gets a director nomination, but not picture, like Paul Pawlowski for Cold War, but meh. And then Florian Zeller for The Father and Paul Greengrass are just kind of like done. Paul Greengrass didn't even get in at BAFTA or DGA, so no, not happening. I've just noticed my TV was on. I'm going to turn that off. Best Actress. I have no idea. It's just got more and more crazy. Carey Mulligan surprisingly missed the BAFTA. Andra Day has the Golden Globe. Oh, I don't know. Like, I after the Golden Globe win, you'd think it would just make sense to put the person who has the win in the lead, but she missed BAFTA long list. She wasn't nominated for SAG. I don't know what to make of this category. For now, I have Carey Mulligan as a number 1 because she has Critics' Choice on her side and she has a really strong fan base behind her for that film, which is fair enough. I wouldn't say she deserves the Oscar, if I'm being honest. I'd say the best out of these 5 women is Vanessa Kirby, but in terms of the top 3, I'd say Frances McDormand's definitely the best. But the Oscars, I'm a bit sceptical whether the Oscars will award her for 2 reasons. One, she won a few years ago, and I know they like to be sometimes a bit democratic. They don't like to award people straight away. Sometimes they do it, like with Alejandro G. Iñárritu winning for Birdman and The Revenant, and Daniel Day-Lewis won 5 years apart for There Will Be Blood and Lincoln. But more often than not, they don't really like to do that. Oh, and the editors for Social Network won for that, then The God That Drank Tattoo the next year. So it shows that it does happen. And Frances McDormand would be maybe the person that would win in the acting categories, but I don't know. And not only that, though, but her performance is it's like Yalitza Aparicio in Roma, like kind of very emotionally withdrawn, doesn't do much, doesn't show many emotions, and I'm not saying that there should be a reason why it takes away from her performance, but I know that for the Oscars it does. And then Andra Day, I think we all feel the same. Like, we just don't know what to make of her at this point. She's very strong for the nomination at this point. She has a Golden Globe win and a Critics' Choice nomination, but she could be anything. We don't know. And then Viola Davis and Vesna Kirby are like the safe number 4 and 5, but because the top three have been so kind of talked about, I think both of their performances have been just drowned out, unfortunately. Next in line is Amy Adams, who'll be LG because she got SAG and they love Amy Adams. Sophia Loren, Zendaya, and Rosamund Pike like would be the Redeemer nominees if there was like one out of them three, but I doubt it. Best Actor. Chadwick Boseman's absolutely getting nominated and he's absolutely winning. If there was any place that he would lose, it would be Golden Globes or Critics' Choice, and they've been, and he hasn't lost them. And at this point, if you get betting against him, I don't know what to say to you, because it is just going to happen for him. And I can't even be upset, because I'd say these top three are all equally as good in their own way. But when you have a year in which you can award the person who's died and the other two have either won before or can win in the future, it does seem like the right thing to do. Gary Oldman for Mank, when we thought he was the vulnerable one, it turned out to be Delroy Lindo, unfortunately. Even though I'm a big defender of Mank, I would happily swap out Gary Oldman for Delroy Lindo. But this is just the world we're living in, and we're just going to accept the fact Lindo's probably not going to get nominated at this point. And then my number 5 is Stephen Yeun for Minari, because surprisingly he has the support of Critics' Choice and SAG behind him. So like, whilst looking at these next in lines, I could see Tahar Rahim, maybe Delroy Lindo, I'd love that, taking the 5th spot. He seems like the safest number 5. Oh my god. Alright, here we go. Best Supporting Actress. What in the living fuck do I do with this category? Seriously. Like, Ye Jung-yun is my number 1 because I think she could get SAG and maybe even BAFTA, but still, this category, we have no idea who's winning, because Maya Bakalova didn't win the Golden Globe but got Critics' Choice, and then Jodie Foster's got Golden Globes, and it's like, I don't know what to do. Glenn Close is my number 2, but equally I think she could be the snub. It's such a weird world we're living in. She's just got the Razzie for Worst Supporting Actress, which I thought was ridiculous. She's not that bad. Fucking hell, she's the best thing in that film, and I would say she's win-worthy, so thank you, Sags. Olivia Colman for The Father could also be snubbed. Like, she didn't get nominated for the BAFTA, and I know it's done by jury, but they love Olivia Colman. And then Amanda Seyfried for Mank got snubbed at SAG. And then Maria Bakalova, yeah, she's the only one of these that's gotten everywhere, but equally they don't like their genre performances, and they snub them a lot. I don't know what I'm doing with this category. I'm literally pulling my hair out. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen? But for now, this is my top 5. I can't even go into it too much because, like, it's just so up in the air. Like, we don't even know what to make of them. The next in lines are Jodie Foster, Helena Zengel, because they've got in at because Jodie Foster had a Golden Globe win behind her, and Helena Zengel's got in at SAG and Golden Globes, which will be really good for her, and nominated for Young Actor or Actress for Critics' Choice. And Ellen Burstyn and Dominic Fishback are like the maybe, but I've kind of done them, we're being honest. In a category where we can breathe and just kind of, you know, lift tensions a bit, Daniel Kaluuya is probably winning. He's got Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. He's probably going to get BAFTA. You know, he's British, but there's probably going to be some British bias, we're being honest. Like, not saying it's not deserved, but it will definitely come into it nonetheless. And he's probably got SAG. However, SAG he's most vulnerable because Sacha Baron Cohen could take it from him. But then again, I think to myself, and I wrote this in my article, whenever there's like a nominee that everybody wants to see win as the front runner, they always win. Like, yeah, we've had hopefuls like Richard D. Grant maybe winning over Mahershala Ali at SAG, but still, like, whenever someone's a front runner and there's an overwhelming amount of people that want them to win, SAGs very rarely go against that. So I'd say Daniel Kaluuya's got this. Leslie Jr.'s gotten everywhere, so it won't be sensible for me to go against him now. Let me look into this. Yeah, he's gotten everywhere. Yeah, he's even got BAFTA, where they went wacko. See, I'd say he's safe. And I'm so happy to say this, but I think Paul Raci's getting in as well, because I look at these next in lines, and like Chadwick Boseman is like the number 5 maybe, next to my next number 5, which we'll get onto. Yes, I know you're all looking at it and thinking, what the hell? And then I just can't see the Oscars getting for Bill Murray or Jared Leto. Like, yeah, they had their fun, but it stops here. You've had enough. It stops here. Jared Leto and Bill Murray. My number 5 is Alan Kim, because he got that surprise BAFTA nomination, much like Leslie Manville. Not only that, though, not only does he have the win at Critics' Choice Young Actor Actress, which fair enough, some would argue doesn't mean much, he also got, remember, he's really just captured the hearts of everybody. And voting hadn't closed yet when Alan Kim got nominated at BAFTA and won Critics' Choice. So it's not even like they don't have time. They could easily, because they can go back on their ballots and change them if they want. And I can really see them doing that for Alan Kim. And I just don't know who else they would nominate. Like, the only person they could instead of him is Chadwick Boseman. But I don't know. I don't know if the Oscars would do it. Like, I don't really think he deserves a nomination for that film. The win and the nomination for leading actor for Ma Rainey, definitely. The Five Bloods, no. So, you know what? I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say Alan Kim. Best Original Screenplay. I would say it's 55% Aaron Sorkin, 45% Promising Young Woman. I say that because I do think Trial of Chicago 7 is the front run for Best Picture still. So I can't say it's winning Best Picture without having it for Director and Original Screenplay. And even though, seeming as it may not even get in for Director, I've got to have it in the front run of one of them. And it is definitely a front runner for Screenplay. It's Aaron Sorkin, for fuck's sakes. And not only that, though, it's the best screenplay out of all these films. Promising Young Woman is my number 2. It has got Critics' Choice behind it, and if we live in a world where Trial of Chicago 7 isn't winning Best Picture, I say Promising Young Woman has a hell of a shot. This is like the year it was 3 Billboards versus Get Out. I'd say Trial is 3 Billboards and Promising Young Woman is Get Out. We'll have to see which way they turn. But that being said, 3 Billboards Get Out wasn't even nominated for the Golden Globes, let alone win, and Trial does have that behind it. And I can see Trial winning WGA, so you know what, I'm sticking with Trial. Mank is my number 3. I at first thought it could be some weird screenplay that just kind of ends up taking the heat. I'd say if they went off more the fact that this is David Fincher's now passed away father's screenplay and he's honouring it, they could have a better shot. But they haven't really been doing that much in the campaign. I don't know whether that was that they just haven't done it or whether it's a personal decision by Fincher. But either which way, I really feel like that could have helped them. But it's definitely getting the nomination, but the win's kind of out of the question. Minari is probably getting in because it's a front runner for picture. And obviously the characters are split, so it leaves more room for a lot more films. And then Judas and the Black Messiah is number 5, because the next in line would be Sound of Metal, but that's the only other next in line, and Judas is higher on my Best Picture ranking. Not only that though, it's more of a screenplay film, so it makes sense to have it at my number 5. Best Adapted Screenplay. I've said it could be The Father, I said it could be Nomadland. Now I'm saying it could very well be One Night in Miami. The Father's kind of gone down in hype, unfortunately. It's missing Best Picture at places, so I feel like it could still get a good amount of nominations, but winning is kind of out of the question at this point. So I'm moving to One Night in Miami, because I've said this before, Nomadland isn't much of a screenplay film, and I feel like the Oscars will notice and appreciate that, and just won't vote for it. They could, and it has won Critics' Choice, but I like Nomadland, but I don't think it deserves a screenplay win. So maybe I'm going off my bias a bit, but One Night in Miami is very well liked. If there is one place they could award it, it would be screenplay, and it would be much deserved. The dialogue in that film is so, and it's so fast paced and witty, and it's the screenplay that really makes that film as great as it is, along with the performances. The directing is very good and competent, but I wouldn't say that's the main thing. It's the screenplay and the performances, and I really feel like if No One Like Miami can win somewhere next to Song, it will be here. Ma Rainey's gotten everywhere, so I'm not going to go against it now. And then my number 5 is The White Tiger. I think many think it's going to be News of the World, Mauritanian, and that very well could happen. But then I think not only does White Tiger have the sport WGA behind it, it also has that BAFTA nomination. And if there's going to be that one film that gets in that screenplay but not picture, like First Reformed, The Two Popes, it would be this, so I'm happy to predict it. Okay, we're going into the lesser categories now, so I'm going to pick up the pace a bit, because I know that you people don't want to hear me blabbering on for like ever and ever. Cinematography. My number 1 is Nomadland, because it's won everywhere. Everyone thought it was Mank, but as soon as Nomadland started showing itself as competition, it became competition, because it's been winning everywhere. It's got Critics' Choice. I'd say ASC could be telling, because if Mank wins there, I'll consider it for the Oscar, because Mank is the more kind of showy, like, look at me cinematography, and they may not be able to help themselves. And then News of the World, Minari seem like likely picks, and then I'm going with Judas because I think Da 5 Bloods is kind of dead for any nominations. And the problem with Tenet is that I should probably talk about this. Tenet hasn't been sending out screeners to the Academy, and it feels like the film that will get snubbed at places. So remember that when you're looking at these other categories. Costumes, it's Ma Rainey, it's won everywhere. Do I need to say any more? The other nominees for sure are Mank, News of the World, and Emma, because they've gotten everywhere. And then my number 5 is The United States vs. Billie Holiday. Don't get me wrong, a shit film. There isn't much good about that film apart from 100 Day. The costumes is one of the redeemers. The costumes are fantastic, and I don't really think they'll care too much whether it's a good or bad film. I feel like this is the number 5. Mulan could get in, but at the same time, Mulan's just performed so badly, and it doesn't seem to be picking up all that much hype and momentum. I just don't know. Like, I won't be shocked if it gets in, but I would say the US versus Big Holiday has the better odds. Production design. Mank. It's going to Mank. It has won everything. It's only lost production design at like 2 Critics' Circles, and everywhere else it's got Critics' Choice. It's going to win BAFTA. Mank is winning this category. Oh my Christ, Mank is winning. I can bet your bottom dollar that it is going to win. And then Ma Rainey, News of the World, Emma have gotten everywhere, including Critics' Choice, so don't lose faith in it now. And then my number 5 is Midnight Sky, because it has been getting in at a few places. Not only that though, but do you remember when they nominated Passengers? Exactly. So that's why I have it in for the win. Best editing. I'd say the Charles Cog 7's got this. It got Critics' Choice. Yeah, I don't know what else to say apart from this. And I really think this is deserved. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Trial, but I like it a lot. Not only that though, but I've said this before, but the editing in Trial is the directing. It's what, along with the screenplay and the performances, it's what makes Trial as good as it is. Nomadland's my number 2, but at the same time, they snubbed Roma, they snubbed 1917, they snubbed Birdman. They don't like the long take shit, and I don't know. It's not as much as a long take film as those films are, but at the same time, it's not like flashy. Look at me, I'm editing. So I'd say this is very vulnerable. But for now, I'm gonna have it on. Mank for sure is getting in. It's been getting in everywhere. It's very kind of whoa editing type of film, and I know that in the Academy with films like Bohemian Rhapsody and Ford v Ferrari winning shows that sometimes they just can't help themselves with films like that. From what I've heard, The Father is a sturdy number 4 in terms of its editing and the way it tells a story. I haven't seen it, but I'm going to trust it. And then my number 5, Promising Young Woman, because I feel I had the same instinct with Jojo Rabbit that with the editing nom. So I'm going to trust my instincts and go over here. Not only that though, but it's a front run for picture, which instantly helps a film with editing chances, because sometimes editing is just a category to honour the films that they like. Simple as that. Makeup and hairstyling, I'm going to be pristinely honest and say that I'm a bit stubborn about it. Like, people are telling me Ma Rainey's winning, and I think maybe it is, but for a sense of my pride, in case I'm right, in the end I'm going to keep it at number 1 because I want to see what other places do, because I think Hillbilly Elegy is the type of film that the Academy would go for, because it's a more prosthetics type of film in terms of it transforms Glenn Close. I wouldn't say Viola Davis is very transformed. She just looks like a woman who's wearing a lot of makeup. Very well done. I'm not trying to take away from it. And I would even say it's equally as deserved as Hillbilly Elegy. But for now, I'm going to keep it at number 1. Manx at number 3. I'm not really sure if I agree with it being such a front runner. Like, maybe I need to have a look at the more kind of behind the scenes and see how the makeup's used. But from what I can see on the surface, it just seems like more of an Amanda Seyfried fest. But oh well. And my number 4 is Birds of Prey, because it is like a, the makeup obviously is very obvious. Suicide Squad won this, and this is the sequel to Suicide Squad, or the spin-off even. And not only that though, but this is like, women, and what do women wear? Makeup, and for that reason it's going to be like real kind of like, oh, and they won't be able to help themselves. Pinocchio's my number 5, because if you've seen the clips from that, that is a makeup fest, people. That really is. Best score, Sao. I'll never get over Tracy Morgan saying that. Soul is absolutely winning. It's won everywhere. It's got Golden Globe and Critics' Choice. It's just going to be another year where score sweeps, just like Hilda did for Joker. And I can't really go against it. I love the jazz score for Soul, and I'm really happy to know that not only is it qualified, but John Batiste also qualifies for a nomination, so he'll also get an Oscar, because he had so much to do with that score, and it would have been so unfair and so disappointing if he didn't get it in the end. And then again, Mank is my number 2, another Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross nominee. Yeah, I can't really go against this. If Soul didn't exist, I would actually say this may be the number 1 for score, but it's been getting in everywhere else. They've never really seemed to snub Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for score. Maybe the Gold of the Drink Tattoo, but at the same time, that wasn't as much of a frontrunner as Mank is. News of the World, James Newton Howard got in everywhere, including BAFTA, where they often don't nominate him. So you know what, I'm fairly sure he's going to get in. Minari is an incredible score. This would actually probably be my pick for original score, and I'm happy to say that I think it's getting the nomination, but winning is is absolutely done. Like, Mank's probably not even winning, so no way Minari is. My number 5 is Little Things, because if there's somebody that's so overdue, if there's somebody that's so overdue, like Diane Warren, who still hasn't got her Oscar after 11 nominations, sometimes they'll keep nominating you as a way to be like, we really like you, we'll give you the win eventually, but for now, just have another nomination. That I feel like they may do that with Thomas Newman for the Little Things. I've actually listened to it personally. I've heard it's a crap film, but I've actually heard the score's really good. So you know what? I'm going to say watch out for Little Things, especially when I think Tenet is going to get snubbed, because, like I said, they're not sending out screeners, and because there's a lot of competition for score, I just don't feel like they'll honour it. Especially a lot of older members of the Academy just may not like or appreciate the score for Tenet, so I'm going to keep it off, unfortunately. I want to see it get nominated. I love the score for Tenet, but I don't know. Best song, even with OC coming in at the Golden Globes and making a mess of things with that win, I still think that it's going to be Speak Now that ultimately wins, and this will be Diane Warren's 12th nomination and 0 win. Speak Now is going to be like the Star Is Born of this year, where the actor and the song get nominated and the song wins. Speak Now is like a prevalent part of One Night in Miami. It kind of draws the film to a close, and it's just a great song. And OC, it sounds good in Italian. Translate the lyrics, Jesus. Look, I have nothing against Diane Warren. I personally hate her, but I don't think she's that good of a songwriter. Her songs are very kind of on the nose and cheesy, and some people like that. Absolutely fine, but I just don't think she deserves the win for this, if I'm being honest. Like, it's a good song, but in terms of the lyrics and the music, nah, really, like, no, whatever, like, we'll see. Like, it's only original song, and I've said this once, I'll say it again, but I'm not a fan of this category. I'd rather see it go. I don't think it deserves to be a part of the Oscars, because winning an Oscar is meant to be meaningful, and when you can write a song in such little time, to win an Oscar for that just seems like a bit ridiculous in my opinion, but oh well. Fight for Judas and Black Messiah stays in. It got Golden Globe. I could see maybe if Judas doesn't get in for some other category like cinematography and original screenplay, it could be like Selma, where it gets original song, best picture, but it'll also have supporting actor, so it has that for it. It has that to say. Hear My Voice from Charles Carter 7, if I'm being honest, is another bit of a shit song. It's so boring and just kind of like underwhelming, but yeah, it's a front runner, and I'd say it's probably getting in. It's got nominated at other places, so you can't really go against this point. But Who's Fake My Hometown from Eurovision Song Contest has a really good shot at getting in, and I'll tell you why. Because it's almost like a very like Oscar baity song. Like, if you remove it from the film, it's from a comedy film, but it's not a comedic song, not like Blame Canada, which also got nominated coincidentally from South Park. It's very much its own thing, and it is actually a really good song, and it's that kind of very like kind of powerful, builds up and up and up song, like Oscar baity song that the Oscars go for. So, like Diane Warren songs coincidentally. So I'd say this is number 5 spot. And then Turntables and The Wuhan Flu are like next in line. But I'd actually say this may be the easiest category. I'm really certain this is the top 5. Next category is Sound, and I'd say Sound of Metal is winning. It's literally asking for the award. It's got sound in the title. But I really think it deserves it, because Sound of Metal uses sound in a very unique way to tell the story of somebody who's going and eventually is deaf, and for that reason I really think it deserves the win, because it uses it in it's got the best case for why it should win best sound. Like VFX, I say this has the best case to win best sound. Mank would be the runner-up, but I don't really think it's going to get in the way of Sound of Metal, because Mank may appeal to older voters. It does sound very cool, and I just watched the behind the scenes of the Sound of Mank. It's really impressive what they did and how they did it, and how they mixed the score and everything, because they actually composed all of it and sorted out the sound during the pandemic when we were shut down, and the fact they could still do it to the level they did is really impressive. Tenet is very loose. It could either definitely get nominated or definitely not, because it's dealing with the whole great editing with shit mixing, and I don't know how voters will feel about that when it comes to giving in their ballot. Because I don't think there's much competition for it, I'm happy to keep it in. News of the World, because it's like, you know, one of the technical films of the year that it could get for Best Picture. And then my number 5 is The Invisible Man, because sometimes they do just nominate films for being the loudest and most soundy. And if you've seen The Invisible Man, it is definitely that. Maybe I've got way too much faith in it because it didn't even get shortlisted for VFX, but you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Because every film has sound, it does leave a lot more room for like the next in lines. And I would say the next in lines are Greyhound, Ma Rainey, maybe Nomadland, and maybe Soul. But honestly, number 5 is very loose, as you can imagine. But I'd say the top 4 are very strongly in. And then honestly, take my number 5 or take any of these last 4 and just play your odds, because I say that you all have an equal chance of getting nominated. Visual effects, I'd say it's Tenet versus Midnight Sky, as most other people agree. Maybe Mank, but from what the Academy have shown over the past few years is that they much prefer honouring the films that had the best case for winning best visual effects. Not only that, they much prefer best supporting visual effects. So films like Ex Machina, First Man, 1917. The films that like don't like overuse visual effects but use it in a very particular way to help tell the story. And Tenet really does do this. Same goes for Mank, and I made the same case for Invisible Man, but it's not been shortlisted. So thanks, Academy. I'm sure they're all very grateful for that. That being said, Jungle Book did win a few years ago, so it does also open the door for Midnight Sky getting in for the win. But I'd say Tenet has like the 52% edge, and then Midnight Sky's behind it at 48%. Welcome to Cheshire would be an awesome nomination, and I think it will happen. This is actually a documentary, and I believe this will be the first documentary to get in for visual effects. But if last year the first film could get in a visual foreign language film and documentary, who's to say this couldn't be the first for visual effects and documentary? Best animated feature. This is the top 5, ladies and gents. I don't want to hear the argument for the Willoughbys or Shaun the Sheep. I know I have Shaun the Sheep as the next in line, but still, this is the top 5. Say it with me. The Soul, which is also the winner. Wolfwalkers, Over the Moon, Onward, The Cruise, and New Age. I don't want to hear anything else. This is... I don't care if Over the Moon got snubbed at the Annie. That was just a one-off thing. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. This is your top 5. Don't go against this top 5. Please don't go against this top 5. Don't listen to other people say this is the top 5. Documentary. Something that the Academy have proven over the past few years is that whatever you do in documentary, there's always something that's going to be vulnerable. Jane, When You Be My Neighbor, and Apollo 11 were all the front runners over the past like 5 years, which have all got snubbed completely. So it just shows you never know what they're going to do, which is why I actually have Dick Johnson is Dead at number 3, because it could go either way. Time is my number 1 because it's not stock footage, which sometimes puts the Academy off. And not only that though, but with Black Lives Matter the past year we've had, I feel like this film will be the most prevalent one, along with Boys State, which would also be an awesome win. I really like Boys State. For someone of my age to see what those young men did was really inspiring. Collective, which is actually a foreign film, but that being said, last year opened the door for foreign films getting that documentary, so who's to say it won't happen here? And then All in the Fight for Democracy, which I don't know, because that's got an awful lot of stock footage in. I feel like this could be the snub. International feature. Minari's not here to stir things up, so it's going to go to another round, which I'm so happy about, because if Minari was here, I would say it would deserve the win. At the same time, I wouldn't even say it's not. I don't mean this in like it's not worthy in terms of how bad it is, but like it's not a foreign international feature film, nor is it a foreign language film, which is why they changed the title to stop stuff of that happening. And I'm glad they did, because Another Round is the truly best international feature film. Crew Vadizida and Collective have been getting in everywhere for foreign films, so I'm going to say it's not going to stop here. La Llorona could go 2 ways. I'm not sure. The Academy are extremely biased against horror films, but I feel like this may be the film to break that, especially international feature film, because if I'm being honest, I sometimes think they don't take this category that seriously, and they'll just vote for the ones they've heard, and that may just be La Llorona. Same goes for Two of Us, but I don't know. Another Round in Q, Vadizada, and Collective are the 3 for sure. And then number 4 and 5, just kind of take your pick, because you're never going to be 100%. So you shouldn't ever like try and like. Sometimes it's best just to kind of go with something that seems likely and not like spend ages trying to predict, because sometimes you just don't know, and it's as simple as that. And then the shorts. I did a little bit of research into it. I mainly just kind of went with the Gold Derby top fives. I don't really have much to say about any of these. For animated short, If Anything Happens, I Love You, Out, and Borrow are for sure getting in. For documentary short, I just went with Gold Derby, but I actually put What Would Sophia Loren Do, because even though I haven't heard it's meant to be all that good, Sophia Loren has been in the talks a lot this year, and not only that though, but it's a cool name, and sometimes documentary shorts just get in for that reason alone. And then live action short, just kind of take your pick. Live action short, I just went with the Gold Derby top five, but I think I swapped out with something for the van. I actually saw Feeling Through today, and I really liked it. I thought it was very heartwarming. It's on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the comment. I highly recommend you watch it. And I would just like to take this opportunity now to say, whatever shorts you can get your hands onto, which may be tricky, sometimes they're not always on YouTube and you have to pay whatever, but if you can get on hold of them for free, like What Would Sophia Loren Do is on Netflix, Feeling Through is on YouTube, and then another one I saw today, which was in the documentary short film called Abortion Helpline, This Is Lisa. Watch them if you can. They are really good and they're very powerful. Anyway, ladies and gents, let me move back here. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. The Oscar nominations are Monday. You're excited, I'm excited. These videos make my throat hurt, so I'm not going to keep talking much longer. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for the Oscar nominations reaction. But until then, ladies and gents, so long for now.